Welcome back. All right, let's talk pretty quickly about scalability. I know that profitability section was probably a woozy. Like, I don't care how financially sound you are, just listening and going through all those numbers and verifying, making sure that everything's accurate, doing the same thing for your business, that can kind of be draining. So rather than like dive super deep on scalability, I kind of want to just touch on it. And then as you're ready for scalability, then we can dive into it deeper. But for this point, for qualify, we just need to figure out, can your business scale or not? So think of your business right now based on your current capability. Is there a possibility that once we know what your market analysis is, once we know that your business can be profitable, what your gross margins are, et cetera, is there a possibility to take that and then scale it, expand it? And there are really two ways that I think about doing this. One is, can I take what I'm doing in one location and can I do it in another location? So if you're doing a service, for example, let's say you're doing a moving service for one city, can I take that and can I do that again in another city? And are the costs going to be relatively the same? Are my margins going to be relatively the same? Maybe an additional fixed expense of having like a regional manager kind of manage more than one area. So that's one question that I just want you to think about. Once I tap into the demand for my market and I plateau, can I go do that again in a different area? If you're doing a product, maybe you're offering products on Amazon throughout the continental US and you want to look at expanding into Canada or Mexico, etc. Can you expand geographically? The next question that you really need to ask yourself is, are there additional products or services that I can add to within my existing market? So if you're offering a product in the US, you don't really feel comfortable going outside of the US, then are there additional products that I can offer within the US? If you're doing a service, say you're doing a moving service, are there additional services that you can offer with your vehicles or with your employees? Pest control is an example that I use because I'm familiar with that one. My experience was mostly in residential pest control. So if I went out and I kind of tapped out a market based on my ability to go and kind of dominate my slice of the pie the best that I could, and I was kind of plateauing, I couldn't get any further and I couldn't see any additional improvements in my business, my next step would be, okay, how can I go take this to another market or within my own market? Are there any additional services? So yeah, there are. I could offer mosquito services. I could offer lawn care services. I could do wildlife removal. I could do bed bug services. I could do termite services. And I could go on and on and on all these additional services that are really, really easy for me to add doing residential pest control. And I could do commercial pest control. And I could multiply the profit of my service and the revenue of my business within the same geographical market. And so I want you to think about that as well. What are the multiple channels of services or products that you can offer? And then really the third thing is like additional infrastructure. And so this will probably come at a time where let's say you meet the demand for your market and you can possibly like achieve more slice of that pie, but you need like additional infrastructure where you can't just operate the same way you've been operating. You need to do like a complete overhaul. A lot of times this happens a couple times throughout business, sometimes around the $1 million revenue mark, sometimes around the $10 million revenue mark, another time in the $50 to $100 million revenue mark. You need to do kind of a complete overhaul and like redo your entire infrastructure, and it can totally wipe out your entire profitability section that you just did, because it's going to be totally different. When you get to those points, rather than just doing it, you need to kind of start over again. Is it worth getting to the next level? Is it worth investing in this additional infrastructure? What are my margins going to be? And do your math accordingly. So that is scalability in a nutshell. hopefully you have some additional things that you can do beyond what you're currently doing, or you have a way to expand beyond where you're currently servicing or you're currently offering products. Because if you don't, then it's going to be not necessarily hard or not worth doing your business. Maybe like it's just worth going and tapping out what you can currently tap out. And then once you do that, you want to start another business in a whole different industry. That's not bad. All I'm saying is that if you have additional things you can do, it's going to be a lot easier to continue to grow rather than having to run that and go do something completely different and build an entirely separate infrastructure for it.